Good evening and thank you for joining us for our special edition of UBC News Tonight on this July of 19th, 2026. These are our top stories tonight. President Museveni pledges 2 billion shillings towards South Africa Returnee's circle. The people of Erute South in Lira district remind President Museveni to implement his pledge of creating Erute district. And Mufti of Uganda Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubadje hails fallen West County Member of Parliament General Moses Ali. Thank you so much for joining us once again. My name is Moureen Babirye. With just the World Cup hours away, we're here to catch you up on what's making rounds in the country. In our first report tonight, President Museveni has described as enemies of Africa masterminds that saw foreigners in South Africa targeted, including Ugandans. Museveni, who says Uganda will not retaliate to avoid falling into the trap of enemies who he says want to see Africans fight among themselves. The president was speaking during the closing of a 17-day orientation retreat for the returnees. He challenged to embrace wealth creation programs, pledging 2 billion Uganda shillings towards their circles.
They arrived not only carrying suitcases, but also stories of uncertainty, sacrifice, and interrupted dreams. Today, those stories are slowly giving way to fresh ambition. The retreat at Jankwanzi has immersed in the returnees from South Africa lessons on patriotism, leadership, and wealth creation.
We are committed to applying the knowledge and skills evacuated at Nali through engagement in mechanized agriculture, information technology, entrepreneurship, and other productive economic activities that will contribute to national development.
This has prepared them not to simply return home, but to rebuild their lives.
Some of them were drivers in South Africa, but they did not have driving permits. We also requested the director, Uganda Driver's License System, who sent a team on ground. Since they were out of the country for a long time, have been given support and promised that they will handle when they are done with it.
The outcry for Ugandans to come back home is really too much. So you may wish to issue an executive order, Your Excellency, to put a temporary ban on the externalization of labor so that we can have a holistic approach on how best you can conduct this business.
When I came here, I was informed that we have 438 men, 261 women, and 331 children, bringing a total to 1,030.
This was an opportunity for President Yoweri Museveni to remind them of Uganda's greatest opportunities not being outside its borders, but within them.
Tetukyasaka motoka, tetukyasaka buses, ne motoka endala zonna tugenda kuzikolera wano. N'olwekyo abo abadde bawutwala bweru babawubya byonna ebyokukola wano weebiri ate Uganda teringa ensi endala teringa Japaani kubanga Japaani tebalina kye balina okujjako nti balina abantu ab'omumanyirivu n'amagezi naye tebalina bulimi eby'omutaka tebalina ffe tulina byonna.
He challenged the returnees to invest their knowledge, skills and determination in the country's growing economy.
Kubanga abalabe ba Africa kye baagala ekyo. Singa naffe tugoba aba South Africa abali wano. Kye baagala abalabe baagala tulwanagane. Kubanga aba South Africa bakola business wano z'amaanyi MTN bali wano. Ebiri wano binene okusinga ebyammwe oba mu buwoteeri busomero bye bonoonye. nzikiriziganya ne Ramaphosa nti muwandiike ebintu byomwe ebyayononeka muwandiike birungi ate timulimba kubanga namwe mugenda mugeena singa mulimba katonda teyagala balimba.
To government, the program is more than orientation, but about restoring confidence.
Nga mwabafunye ekikangabwa kyenkana bwekiti bwe mba mutaddewo ensawo yammwe ono omwana gy'ayogeddeko mwogezi wammwe nze ngenda kuteekamu obuwumbi 2.
The retreat has equipped the returnees with mindset and practical skills needed to reconnect with their communities.
When you gave me this task, I had to ensure that I bring the best of the best as in facilitators to ideologically align these people.
These returnees are very positive about returning to Uganda. And I know they are going to be productive in our country.
For the trainees, the biggest lesson was not found in the classroom. It was the belief that home still holds the promise.
Our confidence in Uganda has been restored. Under your leadership, we have renewed hope for a brighter future.
As the retreat came to a close, handshakes replaced uncertainty, and smiles replaced anxiety. This clearly showing that the journey that began with an evacuation now continues with a renewed commitment to build a future at home. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you, Henry. Now, through the same lens, President Museveni has urged senior officers from Uganda's security agencies to provide ideological leadership and support Uganda's socio-economic transformation. He was passing out 106 senior officers from Uganda's security agencies after completing an advanced joint senior political education and leadership development course at the National Leadership Institute in Changkwanzi. On security, Museveni said economic progress must be protected by strong national defense, adding that African countries need closer political and strategic integration to respond to modern security challenges. The 59-day course brought together officers from the UPDF, Uganda Police Force, Uganda Prison Service, ESO, and Wazalendo Sacco, with training focused on ideology, leadership, political economy and strategic security. The Director General of ESO, Ambassador Joseph Okwet, described the President's address as a valuable lesson in ideology and leadership, while NALI Director Colonel Oke Rukogota said the program had equipped senior officers to drive national transformation. The graduates pledged to apply the knowledge acquired in strengthening Uganda's security and advancing national development. In more news, Prince Kasim Nachiwinge has praised the late General Moses Ali for his dedicated service to the nation and his unwavering commitment to Islam. Nachiwinge said the late General Moses Ali was straightforward and honest, an honest leader who spoke the truth. This was during a special dua prayer at Acholi Mosque.
The sudden news about the death of first Deputy Prime Minister and the Deputy Leader of Government Business in Parliament, General Moses Sali, struck Uganda. On Sunday, the late General Ali's body was brought to Chibuli Mosque for special dua prayers. Family members, relatives, friends, government officials, and members of the Muslim community gathered to pay their final respects to Uganda's longest-serving leader. Prince Kasim Nachibinge paid tribute to General Moses Sali, describing him as a patriotic leader whose service to Uganda and devotion to Islam will be remembered.
We can say he was a peacemaker, he was a nationalist, he was a politician, he was a general, and above all, he was a good Muslim. We attest to that.
Nachibinge also hailed the late general as an honest and courageous leader.
That was a very, very straightforward man. He was not double-faced. What he felt is what he told you. And he was not somebody who could tell you something in the open and outside he say something else. I first got to know General Ali Musa, to know that that is the Honorable Minister, 1977, thereabout.
On behalf of government, the Minister of State for Veteran Affairs, Huda Abason Oleru, said General Moses Sali united the Western Nile sub-region to foster peace and cohesion.
We are so scattered. We are very many in our small tribes, in our small clans. These are Liras, these are Tribus, these are this, these are this. But the only person who has been uniting us, that you see a body as one from West Nile, has been General Moses Sali. Today he's gone. We pray to Allah to see how to put that region as one body.
The Supreme Mufti of Chibuli, Sheikh Muhammad Shaban Galabuzi, and his deputy, describing the late general as a faithful Muslim, a respected elder, and a dedicated servant of the nation. Amwaiva Njuko and Mike Bakabulindi for UBC.
The National Resistance Movement National Treasurer Barbara Nekesa Owondo has urged party members of parliament and leaders in the Bukedee sub-region to mobilize support for NRM flag bearers in the upcoming LC1 and Women Council elections. She emphasized strong village structures as a foundation for the party's success.
Speaking during a meeting with NRM stakeholders in Bukedee, Nekesa called on party leaders to intensify grassroots mobilization and ensure victory for NRM candidates at all local levels.
These are positions that we need not only for the sustainability of the political life of the NRM, but also to assist us change the lives of our people.
The NRM Secretary General Richard Tadong was represented by the NRM Deputy Spokesperson Rogers Mulindwa, who commended party leaders for mobilizing grassroots to strengthen NRM.
The internal organization of the party, where the parish and the village-based mobilization process place the grassroots leaders at the center of the vote hunting.
Bukedee leaders called for stronger grassroots mobilization to support the party get in the election.
Place for NRM on the coming general elections of the LOC1, the local council elections. And we believe we are going to score.
If we don't mobilize, what is down there is another thing. Because there are now many independent candidates and also opposition campaigning. And they are campaigning badly.
Sada Mubale, UBC News.
From there, we take you to Lira City, where the people of Little South in the district have reminded the president to implement his pledge of creating a rooted district. to bring government services close to the people. The message was delivered by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja at the Thanksgiving ceremony for the Minister in charge of Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees.
Mongo, and now Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, also MP Erutethaus Samu Engola, was yesterday joined by hundreds of his constituents for a Thanksgiving ceremony following his appointment as a minister by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The function, held at Oriro Primary School in Lira district, was preceded by a prayer service.
There are so many people, women with some has elevated them in business world. Someone is driving now because of the acts of Samingola.
Please convey our profound gratitude to His Excellency the President for appointing me as the Minister of Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees. I pledge my commitment and dedication to work in this docket as delivered to the NRM manifesto.
The colorful ceremony was graced by the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, who represented the President. However, Engola reminded the President that the people of Erute should be granted a district status and also fulfill his pledges as promised during the campaigns.
Me, I refused to get out of the pickup and everybody was watching. I told him, Your Excellency, if you don't give us the district, I'm not going to get down because I'll not get the votes. Because while we were campaigning with Linda, Chairman LC5, we told them we were going to give them the district. And they gave us the vote because of that trust. We gave him a copy, he agreed, and then he announced, let us give Engola, Linda, and Okelo Rick, and Aregede, Erute. We have been waiting and waiting and waiting.
Museveni, 84% votes. It was on the ground that Akibwa was going to host AFCON.
There are critical issues in Ilango that must be addressed. Number one, the issue of roads in Ilango must be addressed by central government.
We also have problem of health centers. Like this place where we are sitting, the nearest health facility is 17 kilometers from here, the nearest.
In his message delivered by the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, Museveni pledged to work closely with Samuel Engola in order to deliver services closer to the people.
I congratulate Honorable Minister Samuel Engola upon his appointment as a minister. His ministerial service deals directly with solving people's problems at their most difficult moments. This calls for God's intervention so that our country is not overwhelmed by calamity. I trust that he will serve his nation with dedication and humility as leadership comes from God.
Museveni urged the people of Lango to preserve the peace that was ushered in by the NRM government.
We appreciate God for the peace we enjoy now, because there was a time when Lango sub-region and indeed the whole of northern Uganda went through very difficult times of displacements, insecurity and loss of loved ones. We are today by the sacrifice of men and women and the UPDF meeting, by God's grace in peace, to celebrate and thank God for the milestones He has enabled us to reach.
The NRM Vice Chairperson for Northern Uganda, Dennis Obua, said the party will no longer entertain acts of corruption.
The National Chairman of NRM says this Kisanja that the people of Uganda granted to the National Resistance Movement is Kisanja no more corruption, is Kisanja no more sleep, implying it is Kisanja service delivery. It is Kisanja executing government programs. And the fight against corruption will not start from government. The fight against corruption will start from the NRM as the ruling party.
We are therefore saying no more sleep.
A prolonged drought in the Acholi sub-region is doing more than leaving families hungry. It is now disrupting education as starving lower primary learners skip school, unable to walk long distances on empty stomachs.
Ori Primary School enrolled over 500 pupils this term, but the attendance has dropped. School authority blamed the worsening anger crisis.
It has caused a lot of dropout. Now from the 431 we are currently receiving, ranging from 232 to 250.
Sister Ochen says the crisis called for urgent government intervention.
About 35,000 households, their crop has dried and they did not harvest any of the harvest this season. And right now, there are families that could not send their children to school.
Desperate families are now forging for survivals.
No me na pay was in mama me igi kujam. Ajel poro, aji kwan lo bari ma kela ami igi ya kumari. Gidwa bara ya ma, kalo bagari no maraku.
Resident says crops planted during the March to May raining season withered under the brutal dry spell, wiping out food reservoirs.
The situation in Lamour, all the crops are failing due to drought. This is maize in Agoro. It has totally failed, you see. So it's a dire situation. People are very hungry in this area.
For parents, the daily reality is agonizing. Local leaders say the crisis is overwhelmed with constant distress call from residents for financial aid.
There's a widespread hunger all over Lamour. So it is affecting schools, and I got distress calls from many people, many head teachers.
Stephen Okello for UBC TV, Lamour District.
In more news, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has appealed to Ugandan voters to turn up and participate in the Women Council and LC1 elections due next week. The message was delivered by the NRM Party Director of Mobilization, Rosemary Saninde, while meeting the NRM leaders' Greater Kampala districts.
NRM Director for Mobilization and Cadre Identification, Rosemary Saninde, on Sunday met the party leaders from Kampala, Mpigi, Mukono, Buikwe and Wakiso to strategize for LC1 and Women Council elections.
This activity we are holding today is one of the many activities that we are holding to ensure that we take this win.
In the meeting, the director also delivered a message from the president urging Ugandans to actively participate in the elections.
President's message definitely emphasizes where Uganda has come from, where we are today, and where we want to go. And mostly, he's putting emphasis on service delivery.
The president also outlined the importance of the LC1 and Women Council committees from 1980s to date.
And indeed, they served a very useful purpose in strengthening local government mobilization and also overseeing local government service delivery. Those LCs were taken to another level when they were also constitutionalized.
The same regional meetings were held in all sub-regions of Uganda by the top NRM party leaders, including Secretary General Richard Odong and Director Publicity and Communication Emmanuel Dombo, with the same aim of delivering President Museveni's message to the people.
The President emphasized wealth creation, fight against poverty. He also talked about peace and stability as the pillar for national unity. Then he talked about national reconciliation.
Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
The Electoral Commission has registered candidates contesting for the post of LC1 chairperson in more than 72,000 villages. The nomination exercise for positions and Women's Committee leadership has officially closed. We have a detailed report.
The Electoral Commission has completed the nationwide nomination exercise for candidates seeking election as village chairpersons and members of the women's committees. The 5-day exercise was marked by high public interest, with large numbers of people turning up to contest for various village leadership positions. In some areas, however, some LC1 chairpersons have already been declared unopposed and are expected to be sworn in after no challengers emerged in their respective villages. One such candidate is Ali Chambade, the LC1 chairperson of Sendaula Zone in Kosovo, Lunguja, Lubaga Division, Kampala.
Abantu basimye busimi mpereza nnungi, abantu babaweereza obulungi era nabo balina kusasula bulungi. Era nasiimye nnyo kubanga tebantaddeko muntu yenna. Kyandaze nti baasiimye bye mbakolera eri ndi mweteefuteefu obakolera ebisingakaawo mu kisanja kino kye tugenda okudda.
Ali Chambade commended the government for improving roads in the area. However, he appealed to the government to address the persistent challenge of the drainage channel, saying it continues to cause serious flooding and disrupt residents' lives whenever it rains.
Kyenkubiriza gavumenti tuzimbira mwalo ogwo omunene ogwa Nabisasiro kubanga buli bwe gujjula amazzi ganjala mu nnyumba z'abantu naddala bali eno wansi. Tusaba gavumenti ogwo getuyambe egukole. Ate ne value y'ekitundu yeeyongera. Tibalandi road zabadde n'ennyumba ku kkubo nga za mitwalo 3 kati ziyinza okugenda mu 5 olw'ensonga nti amakubo buli wegajja nga malungi ne bizinesi zeeyongera okukulaakulana mu kitundu.
The nomination process was lively and colorful, with candidates using various creative campaign methods to attract and excite their supporters. Some of the aspiring candidates also shared their expectations and outlined the development priorities they hope to deliver for their voters if elected.
Nze kubeera siraba wanneesimbye ko ne bw'ajja tansobola agenda gezaako obugeza ali mu kulinnya jafanga y'amagye alinnya jafanga y'amagye kuba tagenda gisobola akapande yasoma kabi alina okumanya nti kiki kye yawalampye ndi muntu w'abantu.
The focus now shifts to the elections. Voting for the women committees will take place on 23rd July 2026, while elections for LC1 village chairpersons are scheduled for 28th July 2026. Joseph Chigozigola, UBC Tonight.
In business, Kashari North Constituency MP Musinguzi Patrick has challenged young people to embrace government wealth creation programs to improve household incomes. This was during a PDM awareness meeting for youth leaders from different wards of Kashari North held in Rubindi, Ruhumba Town Council, Mbarara District. Take a look.
The parish development model has registered progress in Kashari North constituency, with beneficiaries accessing government funds to boost household incomes.
We want to change the youth dynamics and the way we do things in Kashari North constituency. The President of Uganda has been pushing to ensure that people are getting out of poverty. Is to ensure that we also come and disseminate information on the ground and tell people and tell the youth that they should involve themselves and come into the money inclusion.
Honorable Musinguzi said Kashari North constituency has so far received more than Uganda shillings 8 billion under the parish development model.
The money is there. I was there recently. I had a meeting with the PDM stakeholders, and as per the indications, as per the figures they gave me, each parish now has 359 million. So the money is there. Most of the people haven't got, but that's what I've been talking to them, that let's involve our youth to ensure that they get money and they use that money to get out of poverty.
The parish development model and the youth livelihood program provide an opportunity for young people to create wealth and become financially independent.
Previously, what I had, there were so many challenges, especially people were not trained, people were not given information, people were not driven into what they are supposed to be doing. But since after the other time and looking at one of the information that I got from the youth leader in Kagonji, I think people now, they are being educated, the information is getting disseminated to them. They know, they first train them before they give them money. So I believe that if we continue harmoniously in such a way, holistically you will see things improving and PDM will serve the purpose it was meant for.
Youth leaders at the meeting promised to form and strengthen youth groups to eradicate poverty.
We had so many people, especially youth leaders on the parish level, so they were actually being educated on how PDM works, especially the 30% that is allocated for only youth. So I really understand today that and believe so much that the youth that were here, especially the chairpersons of wards, that they will go and do their work, because most of them haven't been included on the parish committees.
I thank the Honorable for engaging us in this engagement, where he has showed us that we can work closely with the leaders and we can solve all the problems that have been hindering us from getting the PDM access and of course benefiting from the PDM.
And that's our bulletin tonight. All eyes turn to the pitch as the World Cup final kicks off at 10 p.m. We will bring you full coverage and reactions before the match and after the final whistle. I'll leave you with Luandaga, a sports presenter, to bring you up to speed. My name's Moureen Babirye. Good night.
Thank you very much, Maureen, for that. And the World Cup is right about here, right about now, and we're going to be looking at lots of issues and aspects that transpired during the World Cup. Remember, we started as early as 11th June 2026.